Hi, guys. Welcome to Real Talk with Real Food Recovery. This is our weekly wisdom segment with our Real Food Recovery leaders. And this week we have a very exciting topic. We are going to be talking about what is your story around food because we all have them, whether we know it or not. And Heather, you want to talk a little bit more about this?
Yes, I love this topic because whatever we tell ourselves, we believe. And we all have stories around food. I meet with different people, and often I hear, I don't know why I put on so much weight. I hardly don't eat anything. And we can begin to believe that after a while. Even I have to eat this way because fill in the blank
Mhm.
instead of exploring new ideas and new ways of thinking. I have to count and have 1,600 calories a day to lose weight. I have to and can only eat 20 carbs or 50 carbs or no carbs a day. Whatever the story is, what's really important is before we can change and have permanent changes, we have to get honest with ourselves. Is this absolutely true? Is there no alternative to this? And if so, really sit down and introspectively think about that. And then actually do the work around making the changes, reframing, restating this story, remaking this story. Because think about it, if we kept doing the same thing and it wasn't working for us and we weren't successful with it, we need to make some changes. And it starts with us getting honest and changing our story. Jamie, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I love that we're building on last week's video all around story, strategy, and state. And if you think about, sort of starting with your story, I had a story that for years when I was a kid, I had a story that I didn't like vegetables and I couldn't eat them. My favorite vegetable was popcorn, and that was always my standard answer because I didn't like vegetables. And here I am squarely in my 40s, and for the past 8 years or so, I've been eating nothing but vegetables and fruits and foods that I never would have touched as a kid. And it had nothing to do with what I really thought my story was. It was really just my preferences that I allowed, false beliefs affecting preferences that I allowed to dictate my food. Um, and I had stories around also that I didn't deserve healthy food. I didn't deserve whole foods. I didn't deserve to eat well. There was a deeply held belief around, my body doesn't deserve these foods. I'm going to give it what it deserves, which is foods that are essentially killing it. So there was some story there, deeply held beliefs, false beliefs. So again, they can come from there. They can come from miseducation and really poor guidance. We know that the medical community does not have the ability to really guide in nutrition. And so you can have well-intentioned physicians telling their patients some flat out untruths about nutrition. And those can be adopted as stories that their patients then live out. So the most important thing about the story around my food is to be open, to be honest with myself, to be curious, because what's working for me today with my food, what's making me feel great with my food today, might not make me feel great with my food in 5 years or in 5 months even. So to be open, to be honest, to be curious, and to be courageous to make the tweaks when I need to make them, that's the biggest story that I tell myself around food. How about you, Paige?
Oh, for me, I recognize that when we're telling stories, it can produce cortisol, right? It can become stressful, and that then works against us. So I have tried to dial in and listen when the stories I tell myself combined with eating single ingredient foods, does it allow for the communication between my gut and my brain to continue on? If it doesn't, then the story is going to be a false narrative. I can only know the truth in my story if my gut and brain are able to communicate properly, and I'll never get those appropriate signals unless I'm eating the single ingredient foods and receiving the guidance I need to form the right story. What about you, Shay?
Yeah, this is such a powerful topic and one that is so close to my heart, my friends, because for years my story was one of such judgment on myself, like trying all the different diets and just beating up on myself. And truth be told, I was just so unhappy in my own skin. And actually, Jamie, you've got a really cool little quote just behind you. It says about being a true friend. And actually, my story was about becoming a true friend to me first and realizing that we are unique individuals with a unique body, and there are as many right diets, and I say diet because I mean foods, as there are people on this planet, meaning that there's the right thing for every single person. What's healthy for me is not going to necessarily, be healthy for you, etc., etc. And I think something that I've realized over the last few years is that our body has got such an innate wisdom, and if we can just tap into it, every symptom, every craving, every behavior, every action that we take, there is a story underneath that story. There's something driving that. And if we can shift, just like, was mentioned, from judgment into that curiosity, realize that actually nourishment is so much more than just food. Our whole being needs and wants and craves and deserves nourishment. So yeah, that's been my kind of shift from, story state, etc. So yeah.
Thank you, Shay. And this is a wonderful topic. And this is the type of things that we do with our members at Real Food Recovery. We guide them really to the big picture or the real story with what they are doing with their nutrition. So if you would like to know more about us, you can find us at realfoodrecovery4u.com. That's the number 4 and the letter U. But most of all, we're glad you are here with us today, and we hope to see you again. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.